actually to the point where I started to panic about all the plants because they were drying out, and even though I was watering them, by the time I was coming home from work they were dry again. But we needn't have worried because here we are again, bonnie Scotland. It's a bit tad windy today, so I hope you can hear. If not, I might end up having to do a voiceover. But I thought it's about 3 weeks since I did a walk through the garden, and I thought it'd be quite a nice time to do it again, because after the wee bit of rain that we've had, everything's looking really lush. Although you would have seen that my sweet rocket has sort of fallen over because it's got too tall and all too heavy with the wind, and it's sort of flopped over. I did try to prop it up with canes, but the canes from last year when I was putting them in, they were sort of snapping, so not really doing the best job, as you can see. But I'll need to go and get maybe some more and see what we can do. Can you see them? But anyway, if it comes to it, I'll just sort of chop the flowers off anyway and they'll grow back and spin us round. Right, so I'll start off at the sort of entrance of the side garden, and I'm sorry if you can hear me sniffing, honestly, I'm not used to this weather now. So in the corner you can see that we've got the hydrangea that was a cutting about 3 years ago, and it's got really nice and tall, and it flowered last year. But I think it was covered in green fly at one point, and I did spray it, and I've been using soapy water and everything since. But I also think it's a combination of the green fly, and also it did get nipped by the frost that we had, because I probably cut it too late. So there's definitely bits that are, I mean, that should have been a flower bloom, and there's no way that's black, and that's went black, and there's a few more that I've cut off. But there are some more like healthier looking ones, so that's a lesson to me not to be so hasty and cut it back. I'm going to leave it next year longer and see if it does give it a bit more protection. And down here we've got the azalea, where it's more or less going over now, and next to that we've got the multi-blue clematis, just with a wee green stick. And then there's another one that I had planted here as well. I think I did a video of that, and it's the Madame Julia Corivon or something. I don't know if that's how to say it, but that's what that is, and it's getting a nice wee bit of size. I keep trying to get it to stick onto the rose, but it's not having it at the moment. And speaking of the rose, so I've let the rose obviously come up, and then these bits here I'm trying to train to go more horizontal, and apparently that's how you get more blooms on it. So hopefully this year, because it only got a couple last year, I haven't really looked after it very much since I got it a few years ago. And then the ilex, which is like variegated holly, that's still in its original pot. I haven't planted that yet, but I think this is going to be quite a good spot for it, because I think obviously in the winter the hydrangea loses its leaves, and so does the Physocarpus. So it'd be nice to have maybe this here, which is evergreen, and then over here we have this box leaf honeysuckle, so it also has it's like an evergreen as well. So I think that'd be really nice. And then you've got the sort of twiggy interest of the more deciduous plants. Now down here also we've got the lilies that I planted last year. I think they might be the pink sort of stargazer style, but could be completely wrong, so don't quote me. I need to look back my photos actually. And I've still got some alliums coming up, and I think they're Christophii. I hope they're Christophii. I think that one is, because that's coming up from the slot that I did put a wee lollipop stick in to say. And there's more sort of later planted ones over here, so it'll be nice to see if they do anything. And then down here we've got the blue spires salvia, and it's getting a nice bit of size now. I'm hoping it's not getting too shaded in this bit. I mean, the sun does come down sort of down that way, so hopefully it's getting enough. And its wee twig that fell off has actually got some growth around the base, I think. Yeah, if you can see that. just right there. So that's exciting. I might take that out and put it in a pot though and let it get a bit of sunshine, because it's definitely getting a bit shaded. And then we've got the Rebecca that I divided last year, and it's also looking really good. But again, I might take that out because I'd really like this area to more be the sort of pastel like purples and pinks and things, and that's like a really bright yellow. Although everything else might have went over by the time that flowers, so it would be nice to have a wee bit of more sort of late summer interest. And the Physocarpus Diablo is looking really nice, as are these lilies here too. And this tall thing here is a snapdragon wintered over from last year, and it's definitely got some flower buds. Look, you can see it colouring up, so exciting. And then the Queen of Sweden rose has been really, it's just been having a horrific time with the green fly, and I have been spraying it with soapy water and things, so hopefully it's going to come back. It has got a bud there. Sorry, it keeps going blurry. It's got a wee bud, and hopefully it's going to get some more. It's just had such a tough time this year with the green fly and everything. And then the Christophii allium. This is, I thought the Schubertii was my favourite, but I really love this one. It's so gorgeous. And then my lavender is looking so pretty. Can't wait for it. Oh, it's getting a wee bit of colour as well. Don't know if you can see, but I can see little touches of lilac happening there, so that's going to be really nice. It is starting to get maybe a wee bit gappy there, so I think again if I can get some canes and just prop it up a wee bit. I don't want to have it splitting completely because I just love this plant, love it. A stilby, which is like a white sort of plume that you get on that. It's really nice. That's a couple of years old now. First year it didn't do anything flower wise, and then last year it looked really good, and this year it looks like it's going to even be better. And then we've got some echinops, which look like they might be going to do something soon. They're getting really tall here. I'll stand back and let you see how tall they're getting. So that's it there. I'm loving it. And further up we've got the Invincible Spirit 2 hydrangea, which is like a pinky colour. It's gorgeous. That was the one that Anna got me. And then we've got, I think this is a limelight, so it doesn't seem to have any buds on it yet, but I think that's quite normal. Well, for here anyway. It was later last year. And then in here, in this one here, we've got these lovely red geums coming up now. What a gorgeous pop of colour. And I think because they're so dainty, I don't mind the red. I love it, actually. And when these lobelia start to flower, the bluey kind of purple of that just goes so nice with that red. It was just lovely last year, so I'm trying to emulate that again. And then we've also got the wee Salix Flamingo, which is a wee willow. I love the wee pink bits on the end. And then some Feverfew, which isn't doing massive amounts here, but I'm actually quite glad because I'll show you the other one and it took over. And then actually I forgot that we've got some Achillea over in there, and we've got another wee one here that's just sort of, I think I moved a wee bit, can't see for the wee weeds that's coming up. And then we've got some nice bright yellow lilies when they flower in this spot, so I think that'll be a really nice burst of colour. And then I'll come down this way so you can see my poor Hesperus, which is a sweet rocket, has really had a tough time overnight with the wind. So I might have to cut them. Actually, it's safe for cats, so I might cut them and take them in the house and have some in the house. The only trouble is I have to be careful not to put it in a fancy vase, because Bear might decide that he wants to eat the flowers and pull over the vase. So yeah, I think that's a plan. Take them in later. And then we've got the peony, which only has 2 buds in it again this year. It did have a third, but it sort of shriveled up, and I think it was because I wasn't watering it enough. And then down here next to that, we've got the Vanessa Bell, and she has lots of buds. But again, the green fly has really been annoying all of my roses. I have been trying to stay on top of it, but you know, when you're working full time, it's so hard. But she looks like she's opening up. I don't know how healthy that one looks, but a bloom is a bloom. And then underneath we have some marigolds, and I thought they might be quite good for keeping away the pests, so hopefully if they get a bit of size they'll do that job. And then more Christophii alliums, so I've got one there, and then there's another couple coming up, one there, and then another wee bud down there. And then we've got the Physacarpus, which is also called 9 bark, but it's the tiny wine variety, just right here, and it's got some lovely wee buds on it, especially when the foliage is so dark, the wee bits of colour just pop. It's really nice. And then some more lilies. That this was basically like a little holding area, and I just sort of dumped them in here, and they look like they're doing okay. And there's some alliums in there too, but I don't know if they've been getting enough light. And then we've got this Honesty that's definitely went over, but my Honesty has been covered in this white, where is it? Yeah, all this white stuff this year. Really not liked it at all. So we'll go up to this other border, and we've got the Blue Moon rose here, and again this one was really bad with the green fly and everything, and it's hardly got any leaves in it. I'm really hoping that it can recover enough to have some wee blooms on it this year. It's a shame because the blooms are just, oh, they're gorgeous. And then if I can get past this Sweet Rocket, I've got more lilies, and I think these are like the bright diamond ones, or they're white anyway. So I've got them, and the apricot foxglove. Look at that. Look at that. It's funny because these ones seem to be a wee bit more delicate than the other ones, like flower wise. It doesn't look like it's got as many wee bells on it, but it's still beautiful. And then there's another one in here which I'm not sure if that's just going to be white or what. And there's the Japanese anemones buried in here, and I hope that's going to be okay. I've been told it's practically impossible to kill them, so hopefully I'm not the exception. And we've got more Feverfew just round the bird bath, and it's got a wee bit of height as well. I can't actually wait for all these to flower because I'm going to chop them right back so that they hopefully are a wee bit more tamed. But you know what it's like, you're just desperate for blooms, so I'm going to wait till they bloom, chop the blooms off and use them in a vase, and then hopefully they'll be a lot better. And then we've got quite a wee bit of Sweet William down here next to an Echinops, which is a globe thistle, and there's some rose campion in here. Now when I put it in here there was nothing round about it, so I thought it would be okay, but I think it might be getting a bit shaded out. We'll just have to wait and see. I planted some Sweet William that were desperate to get out their wee cells just down here, but I think I forgot to water them in, so hopefully they'll be okay. It'd be nice if they sort of take over from the other ones. And if we come round here, we've got these, I think these are purple sensation alliums, and more lilies, and I think this is an astilbe in this wee pot. That was just a wee bare root, and that should be a nice pale pink one. If no, no, it's a bit more of a bright pink, sorry. Not cerise pink, but brighter than pale pink. And then we have asters that had grown from seed as well. And we have poppies, which are pink fizz, and they were absolutely stunning, so hopefully they're going to be gorgeous. They're kind of taken over, but that's okay. And in here we've got an astrantia, which I'd really like that to get going, and I can get that planted in the ground maybe late summer or something. I pulled out the honesty from here, so we've got a gap, and I usually put some cosmos in here, so I think that's what I'll probably do. And there's Liatris spicata, which is a nice sort of purple sort of spike flower, which is gorgeous. And then this is a bright yellow Achillea, which I think it's also called Yarrow. And then at the front, got gorgeous Lady's Mantle. It's really, in the last few weeks, it's just sprung right up. The only trouble with that is that I planted my Princess Juliana Geum in here, so hopefully she's going to get enough sunshine. And there's an astrantia hiding away in here as well. Don't know if you can see her, but I'm definitely going to have to dig her out and put her in a pot. Can't see her thriving at all in there. Oh, hello. So this is more Feverfew, which is looking really healthy. I'm sorry about my shadow. So it's looking really healthy. Again, can't wait to get cutting on that when it flowers. You can see the wee buds starting. And up here we've got the clematis. I'm not sure what kind that is. It's like a beautiful lilac. Flowered really nicely last year, so hopefully it'll do the same. And we've got the echinops again next to the Feverfew, and then this is like a, is it Prunus triloba, which I think is an ornamental plum or cherry or something. And then I've got this wee salvia that I grew from seed. Maybe need to look after that because it's been getting neglected there. And then more lily, and I've got the green Flavoremia cornus, which is a dogwood. And then this was the wee sort of winter jasmine that I planted because I thought that would be really nice. I think it's like December to February you get nice wee yellow flowers, so I thought that'd be a nice bit of colour in this area. And then the primula, like the candelabra one, is going over. Well, no, that one's actually looking really good, but some of them were going over a bit more. But they're so pretty. I just love them. I need to move this wee log back. Don't know, surely that couldn't have been the wind. I bet you any money it was Ali with a lawnmower. And he'll say, no, it wasn't me. And then we've got the willow, the Kilmarnock willow. Now, some of the leaves are starting to go a bit crunchy, and I don't know if it's just because it didn't have enough water. So I've gave it loads and hopefully it'll recover. And then we've got the creeping Jenny in the pot with the begonias. They're the non-stop begonias. And then my little bench that I'm so proud of, that I didn't know it would turn out as nice as that, but I'm really happy. My wee plant bench. And there's a wee fuchsia in that wee tiny pot. And then, oh, we've got Nellie Moser, clematis, and in beside her there's another wee bright pink one. Just, well, it's not got any flowers yet, but there's a wee one there that's got bright pink flowers when it does. The forget-me-nots are definitely going over now. Oh, sorry, the shadow's terrible. I'm going to see if I can go to the other side. Hiya! Got another wee visitor, look. Hiya! Yeah, so the forget-me-nots are definitely past their best now. They're in front of the oh, what do you call that? Can't remember. But anyway, I'm going to be pulling these out probably in the next couple of days, and then what I want to put in here is super petunias, but they're all tiny at the moment, so I'm a bit wary about putting them in too early in case they get munched by certain wee slimy people. Oh, and there's a cornflower in here. I can't remember if I planted that or not. Oh no, it's not a cornflower, it's a wallflower, and I did plant that. That's what that bright yellow is. So coming along, we've got the red dogwood, which has struggled as well, and I can't work out either if it's been the frost or it also had like mites and things like aphids and everything on it, so it was looking a bit like the leaves a bit curly and everything. The new leaves are looking healthier, so maybe it was just the frost. I think I maybe cut things back a bit too early this year. And I've got the agapanthus, and I don't know what's going to happen with that because they tend to like their to be a bit constricted with their roots, and I've took it out the pot and put it in here last year, so it might not flower this year, and if it doesn't I'll take it out and put it back in a pot, and I might just put the pot in the ground because I think it would be nice here. And then there's a rose campion. I don't know, that round the corner, did I say rose campanula? Anyway, it's a rose campion, and that's what was round the corner as well. And then got this gorgeous lupin. Look at that. You would never believe that that was the one that came back from, I bought it from B&M for about £2.50 or something, and it was so pot bound that I had to soak it for hours and hours and hours and cut all the dead bits off and cut a lot of the roots, and look at it. It just loves its life here. I don't think the slugs have any chance with this one, touch wood. And then in here again we've got some more forget-me-nots that could probably do with coming out. A wee orange ranunculus, that was one that I had just forgotten about, and it's done its own thing. And then the liatris that was divided, I'd put that in here, so that's going to hopefully flower soon. And then we've got some morning glory in this green pot. This is my first year growing it, so don't know how that's going to do. And then I think this is Nigella, these wee fluffy looking ones, and they've just self-seeded, and I moved them over to a wee blank spot, so that'll be good. And some more hesperus here. I'm thinking it might be a good idea to chop that down and let it sort of hopefully branch out. And then we've got the wheelbarrow here that I planted. And I've also put other pots in it just now because I've had 2 lobelia stolen, and I think it's been the birds. They keep taking all the compost and burying down into it. So I thought if I put the pots in, hopefully it'll deter, and I think it has, although my cucumber plant snapped, so I'm going to have to go and buy another one. And then bear chewed the top off this one. Honestly, they don't stand much chance in my garden, but already you can see the begonia is getting a good bit of size on it, and even the geraniums have definitely grown, and only planted that I think last week. And then over here we've got raspberry plant at the back here, and at the front it's the winter Dover snapdragons, but the wee ones in the middle, that's the ones that I've planted this year, and I just put them in there because there was a few blank spots, ones that must have not made it. And then we've got the petunia, and this is Tumbelina Priscilla, or Priscilla Tumbelina. And the eucomis is coming. Look at the leaves, they're so cool. And that's a pineapple lily. And a wee self-seeded pansy, so I'm happy about that. And then these are in this black pot, it's a sweet marble turnip. So they're just little dainty turnips that you can use in salads. So hopefully they'll do well. They look really healthy anyway, to my untrained eye. And then we've got this wee limelight hydrangea that was a cutting, and look, it's looking so good. In fact, I'm not sure if it's limelight or it might have a different name. It was ones that I bought from Morrison's, and they were like reduced, so I don't even really know what kind it is, but I keep calling it a limelight. But if anyone knows, probably get a better idea once it flowers. And then sorry, my sniffy nose. In here, still got the daffodils going over, and I've got the tulips that I took out the wheelbarrow and I planted in here, and I think they're more or less ready just to get dug up and put away. The other ones over there aren't quite ready, but we've got the alliums. They're looking fab. This is my first year putting alliums in here. And then just at the back of them, oh, I keep getting in your way, just at the back of them we've got some sunflowers, and there's also a couple of amaranthus, and then in the corner there there's some cosmos. Sorry, I don't think this was a very good time to be filming. And then that host is looking really good, right next to the Feverfew. This is my favourite foliage. Feverfew starch gold. It's just like a big ray of sunshine. Love it. And the Annabelle, I think she's getting some buds. Yep, you see? I snapped a couple of branches off of her when I was trying to weed in at the back, and I think she's alright, thankfully. But she's looking really good. Her leaves are maybe getting a wee tad yellow, so I might need to give them a proper feed. And then the big hydrangea looks like it's going to have plenty of flowers. I sort of took some of these branches off of here because it was just like kept sort of falling over that bit, so I don't want it like ruining the rest of the plants. I think I've got a wee Vigella that was a cutting, and it's coming up in at the back. If you can see, I think that's it there. So hopefully next year that'll maybe be a bit taller and get enough sunshine to get some flowers on it. And then the wee, what do you call them? Brunnera. The wee Brunnera seedlings that I took from the back border that had self-seeded. There's one. It's hard to see them now because everyone's filling in. And there's another there. And then there's another wee one just in there. And I think I must have planted another one. Can't remember. There. And then you've got the hostas, but look, already getting munched. These ones never do very well. And then there's hellebores, and I put the wee primroses in here, or primula. And I'm growing zinnias, and I think they were out of date zinnia seeds. And look, they're coming. Do you know, I've never really tried to do it just in the open air before, so it'd be good to know that you could do that. Well, I could do that because I just get in such a guddle. I try to keep everything inside or safe, but that's looking good. And here, the wee trough that I planted out in the side of the wee playhouse. Look at the creeping Jenny now. Ali, you were right. I think it's called creeping Jenny for a reason. And the Supertunia is looking fab. I can't believe this was a cutting. I took a cutting and look at it. It's so healthy and it's getting big and it's bushing out. Just at the back, beside the back door, I've got the Rudbeckia, which always does amazing, so hopefully this year. It's not as tall this year at this time. I noticed when I look back at the photos, but I don't know if it's just because we were so dry and I was probably not watering it enough. But the other Liatris is tucked in at the side of the lupin, and it's, I think I'm going to have to shuffle this all about this year, or the end of this year, because that lupin is just massive. But then a lily, which I can't even really remember planting that, but it's there. And then there's a wee amaranthus in at the back, and I nipped off the top to stop it flowering to try and get it, let it get some size and strength. And then the sea holly, which is eryngium, it's got a bud, I think. Look, and I got that about 2 years ago, and I put it in the border and it just disappeared. And then I noticed a wee tiny bit of growth last year, so I took it out and I put it in this pot. And last year it didn't do anything, but this year it looks like it's recovering, so I'm so glad I didn't kill it. And then the wee rose that my mum gave me years and years ago, and I actually think this is technically a house plant, but it just does amazing here. It has actually got a wee bit of black spot or something wrong with the leaves, so I might give it a wee spray with some soapy water later. But it's looking lovely as well. And all the wee seedlings that I need to find a home for are just down here. Sunflowers are looking fab, if a little bit wonky, but I don't care about that. And then look, there's a self-seeded nigella, which is loving a mist. In fact, there's two. There's one right next to it, a wee tiny one. And look how good it's looking. Last year I couldn't get loving a mist to grow for toffee. And then we've got the lilies. Oh, these were ones that I got from Home Bargains last year for about £1.50, and oh my goodness, they were the most beautiful ones I've seen. They were like all ruffly and pale pink and white. They were like raspberry ripple or something. Gorgeous. In the last video you'll have seen that I was sort of weeding the patio, and they're all coming up again. Honestly, blooming sick of these things. Although I did get a nice tip from someone to use boiling water, so I might try that. Although I'm a bit worried in case I kill the wee worms. Anyway, got my wee, these are the box leaf honeysuckle again. I trained up into wee, well it was wee cuttings, and I've sort of trained them into little lollipop or standard shapes. My totally tangerine geum, which is looking fab. I did put it in the big pot, and it's surrounded by super petunias, so I'll need to see how they're doing. And then I've got this calamagrostis grass, and it's got the non-stop begonias as well, and my lobelia that I planted from seed, and they're looking amazing. They look like they might flower soon. Sorry, I wasn't even pointing to it there, but they look like they might flower soon. So that is super exciting. Try to find a way to get onto the patio. And then here again we've got nice lilies, which I think they're white bright diamond ones. The little ones, I can't remember what they were. There's certain things I can't even remember growing, but obviously I must have done it. And then we've got some ranunculus coming up. Do you know, this has been a great year for ranunculus coming up for me, because usually I get one and then maybe like a week later I get one more, but they're all sort of coming up at the same time, so that's exciting. My wee hydrangea that I took the cutting and it flowered last year, it doesn't look like there's any sign of life, but when I scraped down near the root they're still green, so I'm leaving it for now. And we've got alstroemeria, which has really taken its time, but look at the mess. I just swept all this patio, and the birds, this is what I mean, the birds are going in and burying into the compost. Look, I don't know, they're taking it all away. And then in here we've got gladiolas, and I think it's more gladiolas, and I think that's astrantia, and then this dark leafed hydrangea. Please don't look at this bit. This is where all my pots are sort of sitting to get strength for next year for the bulbs, but I think I'm going to take all these out because I don't think they're going to get any more strength for the sun now. Well, there's a few ranunculus in there, but I'll just have to sacrifice them, I think. Yeah, so the hydrangea, that's got really cerise pink big blooms, so hopefully we'll get plenty of those because it didn't do much last year either. And then I was bad. I went to the garden centre and I might have got a climbing rose, and it's like a nice sort of, I think it's called raspberry ripple or raspberries and cream or something like that, but it's got loads of buds and it's looking so healthy. I just need to make sure that the green fly doesn't get near it. But I think I'm going to put it in here and train it up the pergola, my newly painted pergola. Oh. And I've got my wee lanterns on there. That's where I was keeping my cucumber plants at night, but they've snapped anyway, so it's probably been squeezing it in there, to be honest. So here I've got my wee vegetable patch with sweet corn at the back and a couple of wee pumpkin plants. That's the Jilby Little one, which is the miniature ones, and then I think these are just sort of standard. And we've got some sort of berry bush coming through from next door. And in this corner I've got my hostas. Like, look, this is the one that's on the wire rack that I got from, I thought it was B&M, it's Home Bargains, and I can't see one bite mark. That is a first in my garden. And then we've got the delphinium, grown from seed a couple of years ago. It was a gorgeous bright blue colour last year, and it looks like it's more purpley looking just now, so we'll see what that turns out like. And then we've got the platycodon or something, it's balloon flower, and it's purple wee flowers. They're gorgeous, the shape of them's amazing. And echinacea, looking fab. And then liatris, and some more ranunculus, and then there's a honeysuckle that I took a cutting. I don't think it's going to flower this year. I need to find a good spot for it. And then we've got some red hot pokers growing. Look, the birds have been into that as well. And then these were Rosy Dream alliums. There's anemones in there as well, but not much seems to be going on there. But I can see a wee bit of colour coming now. It's been a long time. And then another hosta with a bite mark. And more alstroemeria. I'm so excited for these because I also bought the bare roots, because, or bulbs or whatever they were, but they're so expensive to buy as plants, so I'm hoping to have a few of those. And another echinacea here, and these are still my dahlias that I grew from seed at the back, the begonia that I need to put in the wee gold cage, my lobelias, there's 4 of them, I need to get them planted somewhere. And my cuttings from my lemon ball sedum, they're looking fab, especially that one in the middle. And then I've got these seedlings as well, so hopefully in the next couple of days I'm going to get something done with all of these, because I've got these 3 pots, the big pots that I need to empty out. This is my favourite spot of the garden, although look at that feverfew. That was not meant to be that size. It's shading everything. There's a rose campion in the middle of the 2 of them. So again, I don't want to cut it down right now. I want to wait until I get some blooms, and then I'll cut it a lot shorter, and then hopefully it'll still get some more blooms, but they'll be a bit shorter. Because right next to it we've got some foxgloves over here, my stalks. I swear, and Ali said he never, but what do you think? Look at this stalk here. It's a lot shorter than the rest of them, and Ali was trimming the grass the other day. Does that not look like it's had the top taken off it? Look at those ones, and look at that one. And I made him pinky swear and he wouldn't, so I definitely think it was him. And then the snapdragons are coming up, and the Montana Rubens clematis just tucked in here. I'm excited for that because I think that gets really big, so I hope it goes wild over the pergola. The cornflower is looking a bit windswept, so I need to do something with that before it breaks. And look at these ranunculus. Talk about raspberries and cream, wait till you see this one. Oh, so pretty. And then I'm really loving this Brunnera. This was a seedling from the one behind it, and it appeared last year, and now look at the size of it. And see from my kitchen window, this leaf, it just sets it all off. It's beautiful. And there's some violas in there, and bluegrass. This really needs an overhaul, especially this feverfew. I just can't believe that. First year growing it, in my defence. It's shading out everything. I've got eucharas in there, like I think that's Palace Purple. I've even got a lime green one, can't see the blooms on that one, that's the lime green marmalade. There's another brunnera, that was a seedling, and the one behind that was the bare root. So yeah, everyone's needing a big overhaul. But I like the way it's looking, so it's fine. Hosta's looking fabulous. It'll get it to bits soon, but never mind. At the moment it's looking good. And the purple sensation alliums, crocosmia, I'm going to give them a wee feed because, as I think I said the last time, they did flower. Well, I got one well bloom last year and they've never bloomed for ages. So hopefully we'll get some blooms. That honestly, I need to pull that out. That had self-seeded in the pot with the hosta. And look at this Weigela. Just beautiful, eh? Beautiful. And even the black lace elderberry, it's like now a tree, but it's starting to get some lower growth. So I think I'm going to cut off the top because it is getting quite dead looking, and then hopefully, because I love the trunks, I don't want to get rid of them, but they are getting quite dead. And then I put the cordyline in here, and look, my first ever anemone grown from is it a corm or a bulb? But look how gorgeous. But look at all these ranunculus coming up. All of them together, that never happens for me, so I'm so happy. Anyway, I really hope that you've enjoyed this wee garden tour. I think it's a bit longer than I'd anticipated, but there's been quite a bit going on this time, which is really exciting. But I do need to try and get the sweet rocket under control, this Feverfew for sure, because it's just taken over. It's gorgeous, and I'm sure it'll be gorgeous when it flowers, but I don't want just everything to be Feverfew, so I need to get that sorted. And need to get my detective work to find out what happened to that wee stalk. Must have been Ali. Anyway, I hope you're having a really nice day, and I'll just say bye for now.